All right, we'll ask for the roll call, please.
Chairman LaBiche,
Here.
Commissioner Avery is absent. Commissioner Bell,
Present.
Commissioner Berube,
Present.
Commissioner Crawford, Commissioner Goodness,
Here.
Commissioner Javid, Commissioner Macon,
Here.
Commissioner Provo,
Here.
Commissioner Segee,
Here.
and Commissioner Templeton. Thank you.
All right. We'll, our next order of business is approval of the minutes. Everyone was sent the minutes for our meeting on January 9th, 2023. At this time, I'd ask for any corrections to the minutes or a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. The minutes from our last meeting are approved. All right, we'll move into our regular meeting. File PZ 2022-466, a request for a certificate of appropriateness to construct a greenhouse. The applicant is Gustavo Garcia. The location is 2335 North. No, I'm sorry, that was from the last one. I apologize. Our first one is PZ 2022-486, request for a certificate of appropriateness to install a carport. The applicant is Justin Gravitt for Latrice Taylor. The location is 2215 Hazel Avenue. Can we have the staff report, please?
Good afternoon. Justin Gravitt, on behalf of Latrice Trailer, requests to keep an attached carport on the west side of the property located at 2215 Hazel. This was constructed without the benefit of an approved CA nor building permits. Additionally, the case has been dismissed in court, but it is pending whether this meeting and whether they get building permits or not. The structure is 20 by 20 and has been constructed with wood and shingles. It extends from the west side of the home to the existing fence line. The carport is visible from the street right-of-way. Staff recommends approval of the request with the following conditions. Number 1, the carport shall be in conformance with section 28.03.024 district and area height regulations of our city's ordinances. Number 2, all appropriate building permits must be obtained through building codes. This is the subject property prior to the carport. This is the subject property. You can see the carport here to the west side of the home. Click next, please. And then this is a close-up of the carport itself. I do not believe that we have the applicant nor property owner here with us today.
All right, any questions for staff? Appears to me that this thing's really sagging bad already.
Yes, sir.
So there's probably not been a certificate issued from the Texas Department of Insurance on it,
Right.
which is I believe that's one of our code requirements now.
Do we know when it was constructed?
I believe the inspection occurred, it was a routine inspection, I believe on July 8th, 2022.
Let me ask you again, to meet our requirements, carports cannot be visible from the street, is that correct?
It's not that it can't be visible. Now, if it were made of metal, then no, it would need to be in the back rear yard, not visible from the street right of way. In this case, it is made with wood. So it just kind of depends on whether it's to y'all's liking, if they need to add anything else. And they for sure have to get a building permit post this meeting.
Okay, and the location is okay for it?
That's something that we'll have to look at
Okay.
after it. It may require a variance. It just depends. She might have to produce a survey so that we can know how close it is to the side property line and the front property line.
It looks like it's right on the property line, but it's hard to tell.
Do you think that's sagging or it was built that way? If it's only July
I think
2022.
that they're asking a two-by to do more than what a two-by of that depth can do. Because it's, looks to me like it's sagging and it's warped. Looks like it's warped this way and it's sagging. All right. I'd ask for a motion.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve PZ 2022-486 with the 2 conditions.
All right, we have a motion for approval with the conditions that staff put upon the project. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, we'll ask for a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. Our next case is PZ 2023-0. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness to construct a new accessory building. The applicant is Arata Barahona at 2500 Harrison Avenue.
Yes. Arata Barahona is requesting the certificate of appropriateness for a new accessory building to be constructed at 2500 Harrison Avenue. It will match the original structure, which was demolished due to life safety hazards and extreme dilapidation. The proposed structure will be approximately 1,000 square feet in size and will have 2 stories. It will feature 12 by 8 1/4 inch siding and will be painted the same yellow color as the main structure. The roof will be made of black shingles and the windows will be 1/1 vinyl with white trim. Planning staff recommends approval to the following conditions. Number 1, all appropriate permits must be obtained through Building Codes Department.
All right, is there any questions for staff?
I'll show you the slideshow real
Okay.
quick. I apologize.
Sure.
This is the subject property. This is the side where the accessory structure will be put there. You can kind of see where they demolished the one previously. And again, that was demolished due to severe dilapidation. This is the proposed front elevation. And this would be the left side elevation, which would be facing the street right-of-way. And we do have the applicant in the audience.
All right, do we know what the exterior of the building that was torn down, do we know what that was made of?
It was the same siding.
Siding?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions for staff? All right, we ask for the applicant, please come forward. State your name and your address for our records, please, sir.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Heine Tomei with Golden Triangle Consulting Engineers, 85 Interstate 10 Frontage Road, Suite 204A in Beaumont, Texas. What we did prior to demolishing this building is take exact measurements of what the existing building was, not just width, length, and height, also where the windows were, where the doors are, what the porch is like, and we took pictures in order to match it with the design. So whatever we are replacing this building with is gonna look exactly like the building that was demolished due to safety reasons.
All right, any questions for the applicant?
Many years ago, I showed that property, and I remember going into that building, and it was scary. I was afraid my clients were gonna fall through something or whatever. So it was a good thing that you demolished it, because it was not safe.
Yes,
At
ma'am,
that
and
time.
as you see, the home is a very nice home, so the last thing the owner is gonna do, attach a building to it or build a building next to it that's gonna take away from the home, and that's not their purpose, so.
When was the other building destroyed?
It was demolished a few weeks ago, recently.
Okay.
Did the windows on the prior structure, were they 1/1 also, or were they 6/6 like what's on the home?
I mean, if you wanna do the 6/6 that's on the home right now and match the windows exactly, we won't be able to meet windstorm requirements for design and certification. So we're having to modify the windows a little bit in terms of the type window, but the size window is the same window that was there. But we can't get the wood windows and get it windstorm certified, so.
You can or cannot?
You cannot find the wood frame windows with windstorm certifications on.
What's the size of it?
Off the top of my head, it should be on one of these drawings probably. I don't remember the exact size off the top of my head. But we do have it on the
I
plans.
see elevations with doors, but I don't see any elevations with windows.
We have another two elevations. The sizes are on one of these drawings. I don't think we put them all on there.
Let's see.
The set of plans we submitted to the city, including elevations and structural design, to include the foundation, the framing and all that, so
Did the prior structure have black roof?
I believe so, yes.
Because this one has a red roof, right? The home has red.
The home does have red,
So
yes.
it's gonna have two different color roofs?
I mean, we can match the red, but we're trying to stay within what we had there before, so if you all are okay with red, we can use red. But when we looked into it, our instructions were to match exactly what you have, so that's what we tried to do.
Did you find any information on windows?
I was gonna give this to Haney, so I'll pass it around right after.
My experience has been that the window has to be awful big to not be able to buy another wood window that will meet windstorm
And
requirements.
the windows we're using are 4 feet wide, so they're probably 4x6 windows.
That's not a problem getting windstorm on a 4x6 window.
On
Would-
wood
would-
framing,
Yeah,
I mean, we look into it, if they can find them,
I
we'll
mean,
make
I
it
just,
happen.
just
so-
built a house with windows that are 8 feet wide and 10 feet tall that are wood that meet windstorm.
If that's a condition you all wanna add, we can make sure, try to find them. If we find them, we'll use them, so.
I think try to do as much as you can, because that's just such a, beautiful historic home, and so I would think that even for the current owner to resell it later, someone's gonna want it to be, match the original structure, I mean, the home original structure.
If
as
they're
much as
available
possible.
in that size, we will definitely do that, shouldn't be a problem. You wanna add the condition pending the ability to find them, that would be fine.
If it's available, yeah.
Yeah,
We don't wanna halt their progress, but.
It's not that they're not available. I know they're available.
Okay,
So might be a question of whether the client wants, or the person wants to spend the money to get a 4x6 window that meets windstorm. But we do lots of historic restoration, and we don't have any problem at all getting 4x6s with 6/6 windows.
no, I mean, there's not that many of them, so we can check on that, and if we can find them, Don, you have way more experience in historic homes than me. This is my first time I stand in front of you all, so.
Well, I'm
But
happy.
I'll take your word for it that we can find them.
I'm happy to, if you will call me at my office, I'm happy to give you the person that can go and, he'll get you 3 or 4 different ones, so you have some options on them.
That'd be
But
great, we
they
can do
don't
that.
necessarily have to be all solid wood. They can be clad wood windows, just so that the profiles and the look is the same as what was on the original building.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, any other questions? I'm sorry, sir, would you like to come forward, state your name and?
I'm the owner.
Sure, please come forward.
I had the picture of the existing windows you were saying. that
Please,
were-
please state your name and your address, please, sir, for us.
My name is Jeremy Swanton. My address is 2500 Harrison Street. The windows in question were 8 pane windows that were on the original building.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't match the house 6x6. That's why we chose to go with that.
We're just concerned that the new windows that you put up are the same as the ones that were on the building.
I've had trouble insuring my home with the clay tile roof, and they also talked about the windows being wood. But if you're saying I can get it insured with the wood frame windows, then I don't have an issue. I mean, there were only 2 windows.
Almost every window in the old town houses are wood.
Yeah.
And we all get insured. My house was built in
Yeah.
1890 and it is.
But
And
with
we
the
don't have
clay
any-
roof, the risk went up, and it's extreme amount of money to insure with the clay tile roof.
TD
So I do know there are a few other clay tile roofs in this.
The Texas Department of Insurance, if you go
Yes.
to their site, they have all building materials. So you can go to wood windows and they will tell you every brand that is approved by them. And then it's just a matter of talking to the salesperson and making sure that they are reinforced to meet the windstorm requirements of our area. So it's not a difficult thing. It's sometimes difficult to find them, but once you know where to find them, it's not so hard. So I'll be happy to share that, and like I said, this person will give you a bunch of options. They have all vinyl windows, they have metal and wood windows, they have all wood windows. I think that most of our historic restoration clients like the clad exterior and the wood interior windows, but you know, that's your option. We're not so concerned about the material, but we are concerned about the look.
Gotcha. Yeah, and we wanted to build it back like it was. So it was a black roof before the shingle. But
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Any other questions?
I was just gonna say, that's an iconic house. At one point in time, local architect Lynn Harden lived in that house. That was a couple of times before you bought it.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Mhm.
Lynn owned that?
Yep. All right. No other questions? I'll ask for a motion.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve PZ 2023-0 based on also the appropriate bids obtained.
And the first condition.
The staff has some conditions, and I think that we asked that the windows be the same configuration as the old windows.
Okay, at the windows be of the same configuration as the older.
But if
Okay.
they were 8x8, either back to 8x8 or 6x6 to match the house, which is 6x6.
So I'm just going with the appropriate of the permit that has to be obtained by the building code department.
We may need to say, like, it to amend it, so you may need to restate the motion with the amendment to add such condition.
I'm following your suggestion. Okay, I'm making a motion.
Only if you wanted that second condition. You can make the previous motion, and then if you would like for it to go that way.
But it hadn't been second, so I just need to make an amendment to what I,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
with the second condition that the commission has stated.
I second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign? All right, we're approved. Thank you. Good luck with your house. It's a beautiful home. Our next item is file PZ 2023-3, request for a certificate of appropriateness to enclose windows. The applicant is Richard Calais. Location is 2585 and 2587 Liberty Street. Staff report?
I'll ask Miss Lucky to report the next 3 cases, so she'll take over now.
Okay.
Hello. Richard Callis is requesting to enclose 2 windows located on the south side of a duplex at 2585-87 Liberty. The 6x12 windows would be removed and replaced with siding sized and painted to match the structure. The home would be categorized as a craftsman style with the common design of multiple windows featured within the front rooms. Pages 456 through 458 of A Field Guide to American Homes shows multiple examples of the craftsman style homes. With this consideration, staff recommends denial of the request. I'm going to show you a couple photos. This is the subject property. So this is a duplex, and it does mirror the windows. You'll see there's 2 front windows on each next to the door. There are 2 identical side windows on each side of the front of the structure. This is the 2 windows to be removed right here by the electrical boxes, and then this little closer up of those 2. Mr. Callis has stated that the reason for the request is to help alleviate some of the sun that comes into the room. And that is all I have for you.
All right, any questions for staff?
I would think that you'd want windows to have light come in.
He says that, so I'm gonna back up just so y'all can see the 2 windows next to the door and the 2 windows on the side of the home are all in that same room. So there are 4 windows in that one room.
Plus the door.
Plus the door, yes.
And those are on the west side, aren't they?
If you're looking at it directionally, it's actually gonna be the south side from the map. On the map, it'll be the south side of the house, but when you're looking at the structure itself, they're the right side.
Is it the same on the other part of the
Yes,
duplex?
so on the other side of the structure, it does not have this build out where you see the 2 smaller windows. It just goes straight back, but those 2 windows exist in duplicate on the other side of the structure.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? If not, is Mr. Callis here?
He is not.
Why did you all deny this?
The Craftsman Style Homes in American Field Guide to American Homes, it features multiple windows throughout the front and sides of the structures like this. Many Craftsman Style homes have the multiple windows to the front rooms.
Well, it's bigger than that. These windows are the character of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, you take them off and it looks like a shed. Well, I guess if the applicant's not here, any discussion? I mean, I think I've said that the character's dead if you take the windows off, so.
Heavy drapes.
Yeah, you get those.
All right, I'll ask for a motion.
Can I make a motion that we deny file PZ 2023-3?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for denial. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, that is denied. Our next item is PZ 2023-29, request for a certificate of demolition to demolish a home and a certificate of appropriateness for new construction. Applicant is Lemoyne Disaster Recovery for Reginald Morrison, and the location is 2263 Long Avenue.
Lemoyne Disaster is requesting to demolish the existing structure at 2263 Long that received substantial damage from the past hurricane and weather events. They are also seeking permission to construct a new home completed under the Texas General Land Office Harvey program. The new home will be approximately 1,300 square feet and on pier and beam foundation. The home will have a hardy plank siding, painted bungalow beige with alabaster trim, have 1/1 white windows, and a craftsman style panel door, and the roof will be a 30-year architectural shingle and weatherwood and have a 1-foot overhang with a 6/12 pitch. Staff mailed out 23 property owner notices and received 0 in response. However, there are property owners in the audience that would wish to speak today. Planning staff recommends approval of both requests.
All right, any questions for staff?
The slides really quick, just so y'all can see. This is the subject property. This is the right elevation of the, or I'm sorry, the front but right side, where you can see some deterioration between the eaves and the garage. You can see the brick detaching here on the left front, and as well as the deterioration of the edge of the structure here. This is the proposed front elevation of the new structure. And this is the right elevation of the new structure.
How large is the existing home? How many square feet?
I'm not sure, I'm sorry.
Do we know when it was last had a resident in there the last time?
I can say even when I was doing the code enforcement over here in the district back in 17, from my records, it was not occupied in 17. So at least since then.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any floor plans of the new house?
I do not, however, they could be available in the full plans packet.
Do we know if it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom,
3 bedrooms.
3-bedroom?
And the applicant is here as well.
Okay, great. Anyone who is in the neighborhood that wishes to speak, if you'd come forward, state your name and address, please, and we'll take those comments before we ask the applicant.
Hi, how are y'all doing?
Good.
Good. My name is Adam Hall. I live across the street, 2246 Long Street. Just kind of interested in the building that they're going to put in there. Is that similar to these little hut houses I see popping up all over that y'all are putting up in part of the town? Is that what the type of replacement house? First, we were concerned there was going to be an apartment complex go in there, similar to what they did on Harrison Street, which has caused flooding for some of my other properties that I own over there. They're at an elevation that I get all the runoff. I put 12 yards of sand in and it's flooding my house. I happen to own the house next door to that one. I actually tried to buy that from somebody about 20 years ago and they didn't want to do it. I might have been able to save it, but just kind of concerned with the building going in. So that is what's going in there, is one of these little houses that are popping up further down across the tracks. You know what I'm talking about down?
We've received over the past, 4 or 5 years, a lot of these requests from
Right.
people, because it's people that can get a brand new house and not really cost them any money.
Right. But so that house is in character with the historic commission and all that we have to vote on and take. I mean, I have to come down if I want to change a light outside my house. I almost have to get God and everybody to vote for it.
That's
putting
correct.
this
That's
house
why
in
we're
there
seeing
is
it.
okay. That falls within the historic commission's jurisdiction.
It is one of the styles that's available in our historic district.
Okay, so I can buy a piece of land over on Harrison Street next to the previous house and put one of these new houses in there?
If you come before this commission and get it approved.
Well, y'all are approving this one.
We haven't taken a vote yet. Well, that's why we're hearing what you want.
Right.
We
I'm just
always
making sure
are.
that
It's
it
always
falls within all
important
the
for us to
rules.
hear what the neighbors say. So that's why we're doing
Everybody's
it.
so concerned about, porticoches put on a house, whether it's a foot or whether encroaching on the property line. I understand all that, and I understand there's a lot of rules that y'all, throw on us down there, the guys that really, struggling to keep our yards mowed and houses painted and stuff like that, and then we have to get everything voted on. I just want to make sure that the house that's going to be replaced right there is going to match all the requirements for the historic commission, and y'all are okay with that,
If
We
it
are the
meets all the
landmark
requirements.
ma'am?
Landmark is different than the historic.
Landmark. Okay, so then this is going to be proposed into the historic district then next after this?
The historic district doesn't have any. There's
No
a
say in this.
there's a historic
So-
district and
so I
there's a
could paint my
landmark
house pink
historic
then,
commission.
really.
This commission oversees new construction and modifications to construction in the historical district. And half of the people that sit on this
Live there.
board live there.
I know.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that.
So I think that they have, and we all have the same concerns that you do. We don't want to see
Right.
something be built there that is going to lower the values of your home or your property.
Right, and that's a concern because taxes keep going up and, yes, okay, so that is a concern. That's why we were really concerned if it was going to be an apartment complex going in there. That's what we really came to see because we had no idea what was going in there.
No, sir.
Okay.
It appears that it's a three-bedroom, single-family residence with siding,
Right.
painted some neutral colors that are in the palette that we normally approve for the
Right.
historic district.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Jeff Hubbard, and I live at 2244 Long. I just basically, you know, we have a lot of homeowners, you know, and then we have a lot of rental property. Is this going to be a rental property, or is it actually a residential home being built by the person going to be able to live in it?
Staff?
We're not sure.
Real quick, I will, obviously this is Elena's show, but about the GLO program, I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the property owner does have to live in that home for a certain period of time. I believe that the contractor could, Lemoyne Disaster Recovery could speak a little bit more in detail on that, but it would have to be the property owner there for
Thank you.
at least a little bit of time.
Thank you. Will they speak? Say that again?
3 years, and they cannot sell the property until that 3 years has
Okay.
passed.
All right, is there anybody else?
Hi there, I'm Jose Navarro, live at 2250 Long Street. My biggest concern was just, is this gonna screw up the property value of my home? You know, I'm 25 years old, I just bought my house a year and a half ago, you know, and I don't plan on selling it soon, but if they build something crazy here and, you know, how am I gonna recover from that? My biggest issue.
Well, I think that you have lots of friends on this commission that don't want to see anything that's built that's going to reduce property values. So, you know, you weigh a derelict house that's fallen down that people don't want to do anything with someone coming in and building a brand new house. And that's one of the things that the commission always has to consider. But we definitely, number one on my list is that it doesn't depreciate anybody else's house value.
Figure as much, thank you.
Can you give us a value of what the property's going to be?
No, sir, I don't have any idea.
Thank you.
Thank you. We always appreciate, thank you all, we always appreciate you all taking your time to come and speak to the commission. Like I said, we have a lot of people that live in the historical district, but it never hurts to hear some more voices, and we are here for your protection. I mean, that's our number one thing that we do is protect our historical district. So thank you all.
We don't live on the good side of 7th Street, you know, and we don't want to be left out and forgotten about.
And we are considered state building.
No,
And
sir.
I would like that to change.
We appreciate you all spending your time to come do that.
I'm on that side.
You're
Yeah,
down
I
there.
know that.
Yes.
All right, we'll ask the owner's representative, please come forward, state your name and address for our records, please.
My name's Alexandra Palace. I'm with Lemoyne Disaster Recovery. We're located at 12563 Gulf Freeway in Houston, Texas. And I'm here on behalf of Mr. Reginald Morrison, and his home is currently very bad and unlivable. The back is even worse. There's stairs that go up that are pretty close to falling. And he has been approved for a GLO home, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. We plan on elevating 3 foot, which this house, I believe, is not a slab house. It is currently has some existing elevation, and we'll be replacing the driveway, more than likely the culvert, and all new grading.
All right, any questions?
It'll be a 1-story.
Yes, ma'am. There will be a ramp for ADA purposes also.
In the front?
It will be off the side or the back door. It will come out the
Can
back.
we make a stipulation it's in the back?
Yes. Yeah.
Do whatever, yes. Any other questions? Thank
And
you.
the reason being, I just see those ramps, they get rotted so quickly, and you drive around our neighborhood and all the ramps are just rotting, and they're right there in the front. It's the first thing that you see.
Yeah, usually they come from the back, around the side of the house,
To the front
to meet the
porch.
parking pad. There's a little sidewalk that goes to the parking pad.
Just, we don't have a site plan, so that's why we're asking these questions.
Okay.
That's the only document.
I
that
haven't,
we
I have it in email, but I wasn't able to bring the physical copies, but yes.
Is it going to have a garage? Excuse me. Is it going to have a garage?
It won't have a garage, but the way that we've situated the home, it will allow the applicant to add on a garage, later on, and I believe that's what he's planning to eventually do.
If approved, when do you anticipate demolition?
As soon as all of the permitting is completed, I know the GLO does send something to the Historical Preservation Society. So once that's completed, I would say within the next month and a half.
Which
At the
Preservation
latest.
Society?
I don't, they didn't specify. They said
We
it
don't
had.
have a Preservation Society.
Oh,
It's
well,
the state. Anytime the GLO program does anything in any historic district, it automatically goes to the Preservation Society through the state to make sure it's not a contributing structure anywhere.
That would be the Texas Historical Commission, not a society.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Can we request that they have the 6/6 windows instead of these 1x1s?
We can make any
So that it looks
request,
consistent with the other.
make any requests that we want to in the motion. That usually isn't a deal breaker on these projects.
Is or isn't?
Usually is not.
I can present it to the GLO for approval, definitely.
Did you have a question that you wanted to ask?
Yes. How long construction
Usually it should be no longer than 120 days. We try to complete it within a 90-day period if nothing outside, goes wrong. But usually our deadline is 120 days.
The windows and the ramp, definitely the ramp.
All right.
Is there a back door on this facility?
Let me pull it up. Yes, I believe there is. Let me look at the site plan. Yes. I have a screenshot of the site plan if you'd like to see it. I mean,
Sure. Hold on.
Does the door go in the kitchen, or we're just trying to figure out this handicap ramp? We would like it in the back of the property, not on visible from the street.
Because right now it's showing the wood ramp onto the side of the house, so yeah. It's showing wood ramp,
Yeah.
so it'd be visible from the street.
Yeah, it'd be right on the parking, if they could come back this way on the back porch and come in. Yeah,
If you would pass that down.
they're coming back here. And then
I've got another question while they're looking. Have you received a copy of the Oaks Historic District rules? Okay. Can we make that happen?
This is the first time we put 2,000. Very similar to one on Law Street. On Laurel and Fifth, it's the same one.
You said we have to have some landscape space, right?
Well,
Is
that's
that
one thing I
getting
was
too-
gonna ask if
Is
they're
that getting too?
gonna leave it open, or is there gonna be some way to close that in? I don't like the one window on the side. It's like they put as bare minimum windows as you can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
I've got one, the pillars, as it sits above, is there gonna be anything, or is it just gonna be open?
usually it's open unless there's, an HOA or some kind of requirement, that requires it to be covered. I'll need that, all of that stuff I'll need in writing, and we can send that to the GLO and request it, yeah.
What department of the GLO is this through?
Not Hurricane Harvey, Imelda program.
There is a column shown in the elevation in the corner.
I don't have that.
Elevation 3, just a square wood column.
Oh, I'm talking the pillar and beam, the beam
Oh.
pillars underneath, if they could decorate that front up and have, just leave it bare open if that was a requirement, or,
Sometimes we'll put like a lattice, sometimes with HOAs, if it's a brick front, it has to be all brick, it just depends on.
Well, could we request something like that then?
Mm-hmm.
You get back with staff?
Sure.
We can make any suggestions.
Yeah. For GLO, if you can make it a condition, that way when we provide her the action letter, she can take the requirements by y'all to the GLO program, and then they can determine what they can add to it.
They've accommodated us in the past on different things like different looking columns and.
Yeah,
all
as
those
long as
things.
it's in writing, it shouldn't be an issue.
Just a comment on, most of the houses on that street do have a brick front, and then the sides are open, but the front is bricked across,
The brick chain wall.
just to cover the front.
My house, it's the entire thing, except
Right.
for the addition on the back. It's all brick.
So to make it match, could we put that in the amendment that we require it to be
You
brick?
make the motion.
Okay, so, before I make the motion, is there any other suggestions?
Well, my concern with that would just be that we've approved several very similar to this and did not place those conditions on it. So personally, I like to be consistent in what we ask for. I mean, if there's a good reason to do it going forward on every one, I don't have a problem. But I just know that
Consistent.
we've done this in pretty much the same house several times.
Yeah.
And haven't asked for, those types of modifications.
So we gotta start somewhere, and we have to start laying the rules down, and we have to start being strict with people, cause right now, people are just doing whatever they want. And then they come in here and say, oh, we didn't know we couldn't take the windows out. I mean, just last week, someone on my street took out all their wood windows, and then did the I didn't know. So we have to start somewhere, so I understand what you're saying. It hasn't been a precedent, but we need to make it a precedent going forward.
Well, is that
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead,
My
John.
opinion too, in with this, is that not every house in those neighborhoods have brick fronts.
right?
So it's, in my opinion, it's hard to put that stipulation on somebody when somebody down the street has a siding type house. I mean, it's a mix of things there. But,
I'm not asking
know.
for a brick front of the house, just along the piers so that it's closed, enclosed, the piers. Is that the proper term? I don't know.
cause most columns or piers are substantial. They're 18 by 18, but what I've seen on these new constructions, they're just a little,
8 by 8.
4 by 4 or 6 by 6, and the proportions don't look right. It's something sticking out of the ground. So if they could either make it proportional, make it look chunkier, or put it a facade. I don't, just something to clean it up. I think would look a better view from the street.
right.
And staying in line with the other homes that are around there. I'm familiar with the other houses that are right around us. I mean, and it was a beautiful structure. It's unfortunate that it got to the point where it needs to be kind of torn down. And I understand that
Yeah.
homeowner's situation, but we need to give it, I mean, look how nice it was. And
Yeah.
so the people across the street don't want something that looks like a cheap beach house on tiny stilts. That's
Yeah.
what they look like to me, sorry. Driving around Old Town, that's what I see, and then they all have that ramp right in the front, and they are all rotting, the ramps.
All right, any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll open it up for discussions or a motion.
We built the same house several times. without any additional modifications. There's one on Laurel and South Fifth. It looks just like this house. There's no additional lattice, there's no brick,
I know, but we have to start somewhere, that's what I'm saying, so now that's all over Old Town, that's what you see, and they're all rotting now. They all look in bad shape, cause they just put up a cheap, quick house, quick fix, and then there's, again, you have these nice, people with nice brick, historic, architectural detailed structures right across and next door, and then you have this in the middle, and it sticks out like a sore thumb, and you see that everywhere when you're driving in Old Town. So we have to start somewhere to go back to the whole reason we exist and the reason the Oaks Historic Society exists. That's what we're supposed to be doing, preserving the community.
Well, if we made that stipulation, doesn't it have to be in the historic area rules? That you've got to have that? I mean, that's a big change.
No, ma'am. So, just as an example, there are other GLO programs or GLO homes just like this on that side of 7th Street. They don't have the brick chain, but they do have, lattice. There was some built on Ashley, I believe, and Long, and both of those have the lattice wraparound, and that was a condition.
But was that a condition?
It was a condition.
It was
of
a
the
condition.
approval. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
But those are not. It doesn't have to be. It's whatever y'all see fit for each structure.
Lattice is fine.
Just give me one
Okay.
second. I'm sorry, guys, but we've closed the public portion of the meeting. I apologize.
It's just independent per structure, whatever feels best for the area.
And the reason for that is because it needs to be in writing for the GLO?
Yes.
Is
ma'am.
that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. Any modifications to these are pre-approved floor plans and structures.
Okay.
So anytime there's any type of required modification, be it a city modification, a historic modification, wherever they are, even from here to Houston, wherever they're building them, any changes to the pre-approved plans have to be submitted to the GLO with a requirement in writing by the jurisdiction.
Okay.
So once y'all make your decision, we type up our action letter and we send it to Ms. Palace, and then she submits it to GLO for any changes that y'all may require.
Do we have to specify that it be brick or lattice work, or we just
Whatever-
specify that it has to
You
be
could do
covered?
whatever.
Whatever you're specifically asking for, it needs
Okay.
to be written out for them.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, I'll call for a motion, please.
So I'll make a motion to approve PZ 2023-29 with the requirements for the ramp in the rear, 6x6 window, 6/6 windows, and for skirting. Is that the right term? Skirting? Okay, skirting. Preferably brick because it was a brick structure, and that would be nice.
You want to go on and make that brick skirting
That's
on
an
the,
option?
across
Yes.
the front of the house?
Whatever they approve,
Yes.
I mean, as long as it's in writing and it's in detail, that there shouldn't be an issue.
Yes, then, correct, if you're saying that's an option that is feasible with the program.
So brick skirting to what extent? Completely around the house, just the front of the house, and part of the way down the side? That way we can be very specific.
What would be some of the options that you've done before? You said with the brick.
I would say I've never seen one with a condition of the brick, but the ones that are existing that I know on that side have at least the lattice on the front. There is one that's on a corner lot that has the lattice on the front and down the side street, wherever it faces the right of way. It's skirted with lattice.
I think the brick on just the front would be fine. Cause it sits back far enough, by the time you landscape it, if they're gonna landscape, it's gonna,
Yeah, the structure will have to be at least a minimum of 25 feet back from the front property line, so it is going to be.
That's fine, then, just the front.
Skirting on the front? All right, we have a motion with the following requirements. Ramp to be located at the rear of the home, 6/6 windows, and brick skirting across the front of the house that faces the right way. Is that correct? All right.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. Our next item is file PZ 2023-29, PZ 2023-41, a request for certificate of appropriateness to replace windows. The applicant is Salvador Cisneros at 2230 Laurel Street. Staff report.
Salvador Cisneros replaced 26 windows without the benefit of an approved certificate of appropriateness and without building permits. The homeowner is seeking a certificate of appropriateness to approve the replacement of the 26 windows from 1/1 to 6/1. The home is listed in the 1990 Spare Beaumont survey, which states that the home was built pre-1920 and listed as a typical middle-class housing built after the turn of the century in Beaumont. Categorized as a craftsman style, pages 456 through 463 in a field guide to American homes shows examples of the style home showing that the 6/1 windows would be appropriate. Staff recommends approval of this request with the following conditions. They shall obtain all necessary building permits from building codes. Any replacement of trim shall match the existing structure color scheme. The applicant is not present. And I'm going to show you some slides. So this is the windows before. I'm sure you can probably see the 4/1 there. However, that is just a wood frame that was put on top of the windows on the exterior previous to this owner purchasing it. This is the exterior side coming up from Laurel. I want you to pay close attention to those trees because we're going to see them again in a second. This is the current front where it's just the 1/1. This is the new exterior side that you cannot see because those lovely small planted trees have now grown into some pretty trees. And then this is a close-up of the newly placed windows.
All right, any questions for staff? I think that we finally got somebody that replaced some windows that, in my opinion, would be acceptable to me. Looks like he did a good job and nothing's butchered on the house from the work that he's done, so.
They fit.
Every once in a while, blind hog finds an acorn, I guess. Any other discussion? All right, we'll accept the motion.
Make a motion, we approve file PC 2023-41 with the 2 conditions.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. Be approved. And we'll now go to the Historic District Code Enforcement Report.
Hello, hi guys.
Aye.
So we've had 28 new historic violations, 1 historic reinspection, 2 new junk motor vehicle violations, 3 JV reinspections, 1 JV tag for removal, 8 new litter violations, 18 litter reinspections, no new weed violations, 3 weed reinspections, and 4 general nuisance reinspections. That brings us to a total of 68 inspections. And this concludes it.
Any comments, suggestions?
It'll be time for weed re-inspection soon.
Well, as always, we thank you for your hard work. You're our ears and eyes on the street, and we appreciate what you do. And it's very important what you do too. So thank you. Is there any other business? If not, I'll adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.